We're closing out Women's History Month with Shelley LaRose-Arken from Long Island MacArthur Airport.
And I've got a couple of flying tips for you.
Welcome back to Long Island Tea, where we spill the tea on living your best Long Island life. I'm Kristen, and I have a very special guest with us today as my co-host, Shelley LaRose-Arken. Welcome, Shelley.
Welcome. Thank you. This is awesome. I love the studio.
Thank you. So Sharon has a sick child today, and she was like, I'm going to try and get coverage. I'm going to try and do all this. And I said, you know what? I'm going to text Shelley first thing this morning because there is so much going on. Shelley, for those of you who don't know, is the commissioner of Long Island MacArthur Airport. And it's Women's History Month, and you were a woman in aviation, a male-dominated field, and a good friend, and a board member of Discover Long Island. And I'm like, you know what? I've been dying to have you on the pod. And then, so I said, Sharon, take the day. I'm going to have Shelley. And you were like, sure, I'll be there.
In a second. In a second.
So fun. That's a good friend, too. So Shelley is a hot tea. When meeting the fan base, you're a listener of the podcast, so you know that we start every episode with, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yay, nice.
I didn't even have much time to practice.
You classed it up.
You
classed up the how you doing. Shelley's like, how you doing? I know. So exciting to have you on the show. And we're going to talk all things like Long Island tea, and we're going to talk celebrity and all the fun stuff. But real quick, how are you doing?
Everything's going great at the airport.
And
we're welcoming a lot of new travelers. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. You must be just head spinning. You and Rob, your deputy commissioner.
Mm-hmm. He's awesome.
Crazy.
And our whole staff.
Yes.
Our staff is the same number that we've had since 2016. So,
oh my gosh.
We're not growing our staff. We just have some incredibly talented individuals that we work with.
Well, that says a lot that you were able to keep everyone even through COVID and everything. I mean, it's hard to keep people these days. So that says a lot about the culture.
Yeah, we love it. And we've hired some new, younger people to join our staff when we've had retirees go out, but certainly love it.
Yay, good. Well, listen, you must be insane because you know what? You're the commissioner of a very, very busy airport. You've added like 3 new carriers in the last, 18 months?
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Just off the
Actually, we have 5 total carriers.
Yes.
And this airport, Long Island MacArthur Airport, has not had this number of carriers in over 20 years.
Amazing. A testament to your incredible work. But you're also a mom, a wife, a grandmother, which I can't believe.
Yeah, of 4.
Of 4.
I have 4 grandkids.
If you guys, you have to watch on YouTube. You have to check Shelley out because Shelley's like, there's no one would believe you just by looking. You're drop dead gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's it like?
I do a lot of running.
Yeah, do you? Is that how?
I love running. It is just very peaceful, and it gives me time to rethink everything. I do a lot of strategizing. I think I do that in my sleep too.
Yeah. So you don't sleep.
Right.
No, Sharon and I talk about that a lot. Like, I don't ever sleep either. I like work all through my dreams.
Absolutely. And it is funny when you were talking about Sharon and she has a sick child, right?
Yeah.
So, when there's any kind of event that goes on at the airport, inclement weather, things like that, hurricanes on Long Island, you can't find babysitters. Right. Where are you going to find a babysitter? We don't find those, right? So moms are very, very talented people and very resourceful people to be able to take care of a whole family and obviously have a full-time job.
Totally. And it always falls, it almost always falls on the mom too. It's amazing because whatever the dads are doing, it's like, oh, he can't take time off. It's got to be the moms. Listen, I'm not at the grandparent stage yet, but I'm very close to that. I'm almost an empty nester, which I'm very excited about, and also tweaking a little bit.
It's a little lonely and quiet.
I
know. Even when your first child goes and walks out the door, it immediately gets quiet.
It's bizarre.
Even though you still have one at home or 2 at home, depending.
Just one. There's just one at home, right? And it's like, yeah, no, you're right. She's doing her own thing or she's at work. And I'm just like, it's a transitional stage of life. And so isn't it great as working moms and women that we do have are very busy and productive careers?
I think it's really important. I think it's important for who you are and to keep you busy, and that there are all kinds of stages and chapters of your life. Sometimes you're more busy with work and what's going on there. Sometimes you're, busier with the family, and but it keeps you young.
It keeps you young. I'll tell you that. I mean, is that your secret? I mean, listen, and there's times when your kids are young. It's so hard being a working mom. But when you're older, like, I do think it's a blessing to have something to keep you busy and occupied. I don't know what I would do, but I'm also like, yeah, it's scary. So I love to look at you, and you have just been doing incredible things. And so we're really happy to have you on, because we work very closely with Long Island MacArthur Airport. And, but you've got some really cool creative marketing campaigns that you guys are doing. What's the secret?
We have, again, a very talented group that helps us with air service marketing. And for the first time in 2023, we had money to do actually destination marketing. So we basically doubled our marketing budget, and that enabled us, obviously, to reach more people, make more impressions, and do a few things that we can't always count the number of impressions that we're making, but we hear a lot of feedback for it because it's different, it's unique, it's out of the box. So
yeah, marketing is not a perfect science, right? It's a strategy, it's awareness building, and that's one of the most challenging things we have at Discover Long Island. A lot of people say, "Well, how do you know your marketing is driving people? How do you know your?" I'm like, "Well, it's like It's a Wonderful Life. You know, what do you think would happen if it didn't exist? Do you think people just wake up and know about it?"
And we get real results from those kinds of things because and we've been able to test it, right? Because we've had so many new routes introduced by all of our new carriers. Boston is one of the new routes that JetBlue will be beginning service soon. Our Wilmington and Concord, North Carolina, destinations. So we're going to be doing some out-of-market, in-market marketing, and we're going to be able to look at, do we see people buying tickets? Do we see a bigger load factor on those flights where we've never offered them before?
Right.
So it's a first time, and we can really get some direct results very quickly.
All right. Yes, results-driven marketing. That's what we've always been focused on. So it's great having you here, and I want to talk about a couple of things that are happening, like nationally and globally, not necessarily related to Long Island or the airport. I was reading some articles this week, and it's been such a crazy week, Shelley. We had our annual meeting.
Right.
Last week, and you're on our board of directors, and it's funny. It's such a crazy time in the world. Did you hear that the astronauts finally came back from space?
Very exciting. Very exciting about that.
9 months.
And when they splashed down in the Gulf, and that there were dolphins, and it was really a very patriotic event, I would say.
I kind of wanted to say, like, who's going to tell them that they should have we're all trying to get out of here and go to space. Like, who's going to tell them they should just stay? I was like, they're coming back, and I was kind of like, maybe.
I don't know. I don't think I could stay anywhere too long.
Right. You don't want to eat I wouldn't want to eat
food.
that weird food. That would be the main reason. And I don't know what the bathroom situation is there, but it seems very confined. But I did see them come back, and thank goodness. That was crazy.
So the capsule reminded me of I Dream of Jeannie.
Right. That's exactly what it's like.
Oh, you saw that?
I
thought I was older than you.
No. I remember I Dream of Jeannie and how she used to wrinkle her nose. I could never figure out how to do that. That's a skill. Can you do that? Wrinkle your nose?
No,
I can't do it. I know. She's like not even going to try. Shelley's like, I'm not going to humiliate myself for this podcast and try to wrinkle my nose. But yeah, that's exactly what it's like when she comes out of that. So I was excited to see that happen. And in other news, I was going to tell you a couple of things are going on right now that I read about. And I wanted to because I love having you here, Shelley, because we're the same genre. We're the same generation, I feel like. And love Sharon and other people on my team, but they're younger. They're in a different era. They're in that little kid stage. So I'm like, I complain about things that in our generation that they don't complain about. And I read this article recently, and I'm like, this is one of the things I'm excited to talk to you about. There's a new trend called, it's called Hatchlorette parties. Okay. Have you heard about this, Michael? Hatchlorette. Okay. This is one of the most annoying things. It just when you think that younger generations can't get more annoying and self-absorbed.
Like the baby reveal parties?
Yes.
There you go.
100%. This is the same thing, gender reveal. So now, instead of baby showers, they're calling them hatchlorette parties. And and you go with your girlfriends to like destinations and girls getaway. Like they do that with bachelorette parties now. Remember when
It's just an excuse to travel, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, I guess we should be. But I'm like, until someone asks me to go on a hatchlorette destination, I'm like, I don't have time for that. To go on a trip. What? And also, who wants to travel when they're like pregnant like that? It's no fun.
It's no fun, but it's your last time out.
Yeah, like baby moons. Remember when that was a thing? This is like the new version of baby moons, but it's with your girlfriends instead of your significant other.
True. And once you have that baby, you're going to be carrying a lot of stuff on the airplane.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for that?
I do. I have a lot of tips for that, actually.
Let's hear some of your tips.
I know. My biggest tip is on takeoff, make sure that your baby's ears are clear. And if you just hold their ears back and forth and press on them, it will keep them clear. And your baby will not cry on the descent because they're all congested.
What?
We can choose gum. We can chew gum, right?
Yes.
We can blow our nose. We can do a lot of different things, right? But babies can't do all of those things. So sometimes they're sucking on their pacifier or whatever they have. But if they can't clear their ears, it's really a problem. And they could even burst an eardrum.
Wait, how do you clear their ears? Do you press on them?
You just press on them. Like,
seriously?
Seriously.
And that clears them? Mm-hmm. Where does it go? It goes into
so you do that on the takeoff, and you do it for like every 5 minutes. Just do it for maybe the first 20 minutes of the flight, and they'll be perfectly good.
Okay, so you know this because you're not just a commissioner of an airport. You're a pilot, which is amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
You actually fly planes. So here's my question: why doesn't everyone tell? Why don't they should tell every parent that? I've raised 2 kids, and I've never heard that in my life. Why isn't
it just works?
This should be part of the flight attendant thing. Like, and if you have a baby, do this to their ears right now,
because they can't clear them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when they're saying check your seatbelt, this should be part of this.
I'm pretty sure not everybody knows about this.
No, this is I'm telling you,
It's like
this
a
is
little trick.
tea.
I know.
This
It's
is
a little
amazing.
trick.
Okay, what's another trick? What do you see coming through the airport? What's the craziest stuff you see through TSA and that kind of stuff? You must see some crazy stuff.
I do. I think during COVID, somebody wore like it was a huge white outfit. They were covered. It had a hat on it, like if they were removing asbestos or something like that. Yeah, it was one of those outfits.
Wait, were they a furry?
No,
Okay.
they just wore the outfit. I guess they were protecting themselves against COVID.
Oh, like a hazmat outfit.
hazmat outfit. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
did that fly? Were you able to go through security with
Yes.
that? Oh, really? Oh,
It was interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that? No.
No.
Why do you need that? Like, can you imagine sitting next to that person on the plane? I'd be like, here we go. This is my luck. I have friends who, as I'm sure you do, travel a lot. And oftentimes they'll take pictures of like offenders, what they call airline offenders. I'm just going to ask you, like we played this game and I'm just spontaneously doing this to you. You're not prepared for this at all for our listeners. We play a game called How You Doing, where that's like, yeah, I'm here for it, or forget about it. Okay. Meaning like, no, I'm not here for that. I don't approve. So let me ask you this. Taking your shoes off on the plane.
Unacceptable.
We call that forget about it. Right? People do it though. What about like because on international flights, they give you socks.
Right.
For that purpose so that your feet don't swell up. But like on a domestic, people do it.
If they bring their own socks, I'm okay with that.
But they take their shoes off and then they put their feet up on the seats. Right? Why do people do that?
Would you do it in your house? I don't let people do that in my living room.
Right. That's a good rule of
Right?
thumb. Would you, not in your own house maybe, but if you were a guest in someone's house, would you do
Right.
that?
That's really true. Right.
That's a good,
I don't know. I have a living room. In my living room, in the great room, you're welcome to be comfortable. But in the living room, it's more of a formal place.
You seem very formal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're more on the formal side, but like that is a great rule of thumb though. Think about what you would do as a guest at someone's home and maybe don't do that on a plane with the, like, what about, here's another one, listening to your phone without headphones.
Yeah, that's on speaker.
On speaker.
I think that's unacceptable anywhere. Not just on an airplane.
People do it.
Right.
My husband was commuting from the city yesterday. He was there for, on the way there, guy listening to his phone full blast right across from him.
People aren't bashful. They want you to hear their conversation that they're having with their loved one.
Or like their TikToks. And then on the way back, the conductor actually came on and said, wear your headphones. The conductor of the LARR came on and was like, everyone's tired. It's been a long day at work. Can you just put your headphones on? Michael rides the train every single day. Michael, do people do this to you all the time?
Every single day. So many people just are listening to music with no headphones, phone calls on speaker, and then the conductors are very nice when they come over and tell them very politely, please just, keep your, wear headphones. It's been a long day. Then there's fights and it's nuts. It's nuts.
Typical New York.
It's unhinged is basically what it is. But yes, every single day I deal with this very issue.
Oh my God.
Every single day.
Okay, here's another one, Shelley. And then if you have other ones, let me know. But here's another one. And I will tell you, I have been a culprit of this. Kind of mistakenly. And then I felt really bad. Bringing stinky food onto a plane. I brought one time, I got it to go. It just took longer than I expected at the airport. So I had to bring my like little personal pizza onto the plane. I was fully anticipating eating it at the airport. Not at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Obviously, the food would come out on time.
Right.
But I got a pizza with an egg on it. I love a good pizza with an egg. And then I had to carry said pizza with an egg on it onto the plane. And I was obviously also in a like last minute middle row. Or middle seat. So, I did end up sharing it with the people around me. So that made it better. But when I opened up that pizza box, they were like, no, I had to tell my sister recently, she did not understand that broccoli is unacceptable.
That would be a tough one.
So, I mean, do you find this often? Like people do this, right? They bring how do you feel about this?
I'm okay if people bring their food onto the airplane. I just think they have to be conscientious of the people who are around them, and maybe they can just bring a burger, no egg.
Yes. How do you feel about tuna? Like tuna fish?
Wow.
I'm telling you. You have to go back and listen to one of my favorite episodes of this where I was on a romantic getaway with my husband. We went to Atlantic City.
Nice.
And right when we get to the hotel, we're going to grab like a sandwich just while we're getting ready. And there, he orders tuna fish. I'm like, okay. So clearly you want to spend the weekend by yourself because you're taking this to our hotel room. That people people do this. What is it about people that when they're traveling just leave all of their social cues and social norms? They're just abandon them.
They do. Because everybody is in their own world. They're just thinking of themselves. And there are 170 other people on that airplane with them.
Yes.
In close quarters for at least 2 to 3 hours.
Exactly.
Right?
And so do you guys have a running tally of things? Like, do you at the airport where you make fun of people?
No.
You can tell me.
No. We definitely don't make fun of people there.
Oh. Let me tell you this. Do you have a running tally of things at the airport, of things that you see that are people leaving their social norms at home that you could provide to our team so that we could make fun of them?
I think I can only say that I'm going to maybe write a book sometime on flying etiquette.
You should.
Right?
That is, I'm telling you, it is so needed.
I think you could start the book.
No,
you and your staff. You've already got some good ideas.
Well, yes, but I mean, you are the expert. You see this day in and day out. It must just blow your mind what people do. And you think it's just because people are like on vacation or what? I just,
I think my favorite thing, one of the cutest things, is that people are going away for a few days and they bring a bag or 3 bags that you could go away for 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're packing like they're the housewives of Beverly Hills, and you're like, oh, what is this?
It's amazing.
I have been known to do that. Because I want to pack
You can
things.
only bring 2 pairs of shoes with you. You should bring 2 pairs of shoes on any trip, even if it's for a week. 2 pairs of shoes. That's all you need.
What?
Truly.
I can't believe.
And you have to pick a color theme for your outfits. If it's black and white, if it's brown and tan, whatever it is.
You just stick with that color theme.
Right.
I just can't picture you because you are always dressed to the nines.
2 pairs of shoes when I travel.
That's
amazing.
it. What are the 2 pairs? Heels and sneakers?
My running shoes.
Of course, you're
Okay, I might throw a pair of flip-flops in there.
Okay, bring it on.
But I don't count those as shoes. Are those shoes?
Yes.
No, they're not shoes.
Of course they are.
Because you don't wear them out with an outfit.
Correct. Well, I won't even tell you how many pairs of shoes I took on my cruise.
Okay.
It was bad. But listen, I
had a friend who actually brought a whole suitcase of shoes one time.
I like your friend.
Right.
But I mean, look at that. You are always dressed impeccably and everything, but you have to really strategize.
Mm-hmm. I can pack in 5 minutes. It doesn't take me very long to pack. I carry 1 bag, 1 carry-on. That's it.
Oh my God. Your husband must love traveling with you.
I do not check my bag. I always have my suitcase with me. So I have to be able to, and this is a rule when I was traveling with my kids when they were little too, is if you cannot carry it, you cannot bring it.
Smart.
And that should go for everybody. That would be in the book.
Yes.
Right?
I know we pack that way when we're going, especially to like Europe or overseas, because you have to remember that there's not a lot of escalators. There's not a lot. You're schlepping up and down stairs to the trains, to things. It's not exactly, in Europe as ADA compliant as we are here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I always say that. My kids are always like 50-pound bags. I'm like, you're carrying that up and down flights of stairs.
Yeah. That's the first rule you teach your children.
Yes.
I have a great story
about
about my son, Dylan. It was Christmas, and I was not at Long Island MacArthur Airport. I was at another airport, and we were flying out of one of the big New York airports that I sometimes don't talk about too much. And it's winter, so he had his snowsuit on, basically, and he was probably 3. And he laid down in the middle of the terminal, and he wouldn't move. And I also had my daughter, my youngest daughter, who was with me, and he must have been 5, so she was an infant. And he laid down in the middle of the terminal, and I did not think he was going to move. And I thought we were going to miss our airplane. And I said to him, if you do not get up, you will not get to go. And we're not going to see Grandma and Grandpa, and Santa might not come.
Whoa.
And finally, he got up.
You brought out Santa. You brought out the big man. Mm-hmm. That, listen, moms have to do what moms have to do.
I know. It was hard negotiating with him.
Traveling with kids is so hard. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad I'm kind of beyond that stage. Although I would say traveling with teenagers is also a different world.
Oh, I took, my daughter had her Sweet 16. So I took 4 of her friends to Jamaica.
Ooh.
We had a great time. It was fun. And they were the best travelers ever. They packed 1 suitcase, 1 carry-on, and they all had their iPhones. So they, customs forms are now online. Mm-hmm. You don't get the paper copy when you get on an airplane anymore. Mm-hmm. So they were all capable on their iPhone to fill out the customs forms. They're amazing.
It is. Yeah. The technology really helps. Mm-hmm. But have you traveled with your grandkids yet?
Oh, yeah.
And how's that?
I love it.
Really?
Yes. Yes, because they travel the same way I do.
Because they've been trained.
They've been trained properly.
Shelley, tell me a little bit. How did you get into aviation as a woman, and started flying? And can you tell me how this started for you?
So I I thought I wanted to be an accountant because my mom is an accountant, and my stepdad he was a private pilot. And so he took me out to the airport and I learned how to fly. And I realized I really loved it. I thought, this is a great career. It sounds fun. I was working in a hair salon at the time, and I was talking to one of the customers who came in, and she said, my daughter went to Florida Tech down in Melbourne, Florida, and she is now an airline pilot. You can go to school for this. And I was so impressed that there were colleges with curriculums who promoted aviation and flying. And so I checked out the college and I went to school, graduated from there. My son Dylan goes there now.
So someone just mentioned it to you at the hair salon.
Well, I was working on my private pilot at the time.
Okay. So you were already kind of interested in flying.
But I didn't know that you could go to college for it. Mm-hmm. And now I sit on the board for SUNY Farmingdale, and they have an aviation program there. Mm-hmm. So we promote that widely. I sit on the board, parent leadership board at Florida Tech down in Melbourne, and we recruit kids from Long Island all the time.
But you just are always interested in flying or the freedom of it, or, as a young woman, it is really, I think, rare for.
I started flying when I was 19.
How?
And my stepdad took me out to the airport, and I had a flight instructor and ended up getting my private pilot certificate, and I flew a few of my friends around.
Oh my God, that's cool. Was your stepdad a pilot then?
Uh-huh. Well, not professionally, but recreationally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of saw him doing it, and you're like, yeah, I want to do that. So your friends must have thought that was so cool.
Right. Well, I did.
Were they like, take me on my bachelorette party?
Right.
Shelley, fly me there. No.
No.
No. Sorry. So go ahead. But that's
how I got into it. And then when I went to college, obviously I got my commercial instrument, my multi-engine rating, and I still fly.
What kind of plane do you fly?
It's a Grumman Tiger, so there are 4 seats. It's a very small aircraft, but it's great for little hops to go to Connecticut, Rhode Island, close
places.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I do it a couple times a year.
Good for you. And you're married to a pilot.
I am. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about him.
He retired from American Airlines on the 777, and then he also flies for a charter company now.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
And he was a Geico Sky Typer.
He was.
Which
yes.
is so cool.
And did air shows for many, many years.
I love the air shows. Mm-hmm. Especially the, it used to be the Beth Page Jones Beach Air Show, and now it's the Four Leaf.
Four Leaf, I know. They've changed their name.
Yes. But
it's going to be a big air show this year.
It is.
We have the Thunderbirds coming out to Long Island MacArthur.
Because they stage at Long Island MacArthur, so you don't even have to go out to Jones Beach to see this stuff. You can just hang out near Long Island MacArthur, and you'll see them fly right over.
It's really worth a trip to Jones Beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember the best kept secret is go on Friday.
Yes, not anymore. Everybody knows now.
Everybody.
That used to be the secret, and now everybody goes on Friday.
Right.
And we were there last year, and we were right next to. We do, Discover Long Island was right next to Long Island MacArthur, and our teams work so well together because we go hand in hand. What we're doing, that's so cool. So what do you say to people? These days we've been hearing a lot about fear because of what's happened in the airline industry, and people are kind of scared of flying these days. Do you have a response to that? I'm sure people ask you about it all the time.
All the time. All the time. It's still the safest way to travel. Mm-hmm. There are so many auto accidents every year. We all have to use our vehicles. We can choose mass transit and go by train. Mm-hmm. But flying is still the safest mode of transportation. Plus, it gets you there pretty conveniently the majority of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
There are a few delays and cancellations, weather-wise or, but for the most part, it's the best way to travel.
And I think a lot of people's fear, like my fear, is sometimes the fear of traveling is because you're not in control. Like in a vehicle, so that's cool that you fly because then you actually are in control. It probably makes you less scared when you're behind the wheel.
That I do encourage people, if they have a fear of flying, to at least do an introductory flight with one of the flight schools. Go up, try it out, get a feel for it, understand it better, and a lot of times it helps people.
I love that. Well, it is Women's History Month, and so our Women's History Month is all about Shelley. Really, as a woman in aviation and as the commissioner of our very own Long Island MacArthur Airport. How long have you been there now as the commissioner?
9 years.
9 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And in that 9 years, truly what you and your team and Supervisor Carpenter, what you've all been able to accomplish is really incredible. So just, if you don't mind, tell us real quick about the 3 new carriers and the new flights. You want to give us an update?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's been quite a journey. It's been a lot of fun, and I really do appreciate the town board in allowing me to serve in this position. It's been always great, and there's so much more that can be done, which I'm looking forward to. We brought you a little swag bag.
I know, it's
right?
so cute.
See, that's a Velo. This is our newest air carrier. You can put your shoes in there for travel.
Oh, yes,
that's
smart.
another travel tip. So we just announced service. Velo is an ultra low cost carrier. They do serve a number of destinations in Connecticut. They announced 3 new routes. So they'll be serving Wilmington, North Carolina, Concord, North Carolina, as well as Lakeland, Florida. And all in all, we have Breeze Airways, Frontier, Southwest, and our other new carrier, JetBlue, right?
That was such a huge coup. Getting JetBlue into Long Island, it was amazing.
It was all of these carriers. It has taken anywhere from 3 to 5 years to get to continue to. We call it like stalking carriers. That's what we do.
You make it look easy, but people don't realize the amount of work and time and relationship building that you guys do behind the scenes, and the investment of, not only investment monetarily, but time that you really do to be able to make this happen so that everybody can use their hometown airport.
Right. And, we have 19 destinations that are served nonstop. Southwest, of course, has their new partnership with Icelandair. So
exciting.
if you fly out of Long Island MacArthur Airport, you can connect to Icelandair on their service. But I will say people need to know that they have to book on Icelandair. They can't book through the Southwest site until 2026. So
Okay. All right.
little tidbit of information, right? But I think one of the big things is, Long Island MacArthur Airport, obviously economic generator, very important to our community and the businesses that are here. Very important to tourism, being able to bring people from all these great destinations to Long Island. Discover Long Island has been a great partner as well in getting the word out about how to get to Long Island by using our airport. And it's a great partnership that we have.
We always try to tell people, if you can come in through Long Island MacArthur Airport, whose call letters are ISP, right? It is just a completely different entrance into the market. You arrive. I remember the first time I ever came to Long Island, I arrived at Long Island MacArthur Airport, and it was just like so easy and relaxing. Whereas when you arrive at the other big airports, it can be definitely overwhelming. Not only just the arrival process, but trying to rent a car. It took me a long time to get comfortable driving anywhere on Long Island. But when you arrive at MacArthur, you're already so deep into Suffolk County. You are close to the Hamptons and the vineyards and our lighthouses and so many of our wonderful downtowns and attractions. It's a totally different. What is your slogan? Stress-free, fly-free, stress-free?
Stress less.
Stress less. Totally. And it's truly coming and going, to be honest. If you can do it, if the times and the flights and everything work, it's just a completely different experience.
When you walk outside LaGuardia Airport and the first thing you hear are tons of horns honking, and you walk outside Long Island MacArthur Airport and you don't have that, you're on Long Island.
Yes. Yeah. And I love picking up my family and friends there too. And you probably don't want me to promote this, but the cool thing is like people park right there. Like when you're by the baggage claim, you can get out of your car, help load the luggage. Listen, we've all seen the TSA TikTok and memes of, JFK or whatever, where they're like screaming at you, and when you try to pull up and get people, they're screaming at you and ushering you. It's just a completely different feeling.
And, we do have curbside security who will hopefully help move you along quickly because we are getting busier and busier.
Right.
So it's very important that we keep traffic moving.
Understood.
But they're always, I think we have great employees that are there, always willing to help. You know, we've got a lot of people who come in and need some extra assistance, and we've got people to do that.
Yeah. And we're always trying to tell people, like, again, how to come to Long Island and have that experience in the easiest way. So I wanted to tell you, we have a new blog out on discoverlongisland.com right now. And it's such a cute, theme because it's about places on Long Island that feel like Europe.
Right.
But they're not. So it talks about, I got to tell you, it talks about like the tulips, the Tulip Festival. Have you been to the Tulip Festival at Water Drinker?
I have not.
Oh.
I love tulips. That's
Oh my
one
God,
of my
Shelley,
favorite flowers.
You have to go. Do you have dogs or anything? Any pets?
Yes.
It's dog friendly.
Oh, good.
I always take my dogs. They run around. It's so beautiful. So you don't have to go to Amsterdam. It's right in Manorville, the Tulip Festival at Water Drinker Farms. It is so cute. So you don't even need to go all the way to Amsterdam. The Lavender Farm. Mm-hmm. Have you been
Gorgeous. I've seen pictures of it. It's beautiful.
And you think you have to go to, Provence, France, but you don't. You just go right here to the Lavender Farm. The cherry blossoms, which most people go to Spain for, but they're right here in across from Stony Brook University. It's amazing. So go to the blog and we'll tell you all the places, especially this beautiful time of spring. Mm-hmm. You don't have to travel the world. You can just fly into Long Island MacArthur Airport and go to any of these places.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Beautiful. I love.
Shelley agrees.
I'm going to go to the tulip place.
Oh, I'm telling you, it is great. And I do really love the brewery there is so fun. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about a little celebrity before I let you go. And then if there's anything else you want me to say or you wanted to get in about the airport before we finish, let me know too. You have time to think about it.
Okay.
Okay. So celebrity, we talked a little bit about the people coming back. Okay. I don't know how you're going to feel about this. I was going to talk about this when Sharon was here. You may not want to jump into this one.
Okay.
Will Smith is coming out with a new album. Does anyone care? I mean, I'm so over Will Smith.
Oh.
See, I knew you wouldn't want to get into that. I don't know why. I just have a completely different perspective of him ever since he slapped Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't go back to the old Will Smith that I knew and loved before that. I can't unsee that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, kudos to him for trying to come out with his he has a 14-track record coming out on June 25th called Based on a True Story. If you're into Will Smith, he is talented.
Very.
He's incredibly talented, wonderful musician. I've always been a huge Will Smith fan, but I'm just kind of like, can't get behind it.
Well, maybe everybody makes a mistake.
Well, that's a good point, Shelley.
I try to see the best in everybody.
I love that about you.
I'm going to just say, maybe we should give him another shot.
Okay. All right. I'm here for that. That's good. That's
not a
good.
shot to hit Chris Rock.
No, not another actual, not a slap.
Right.
But you know what? Everybody, you don't know what people are going through. Mm-hmm. Right. And
right.
This is why you're so patient, because you work in the aviation industry and you see a lot of stuff. You have to have so much patience. I wish I liked running. Mm-hmm. I really do. I don't. I hate running.
I think it's because you didn't learn how to run.
I'm sure.
All you have to do is just keep moving. I'm not saying you have to run a marathon or, fast. I just jog to places. That's where I go.
Yes.
Like to Sobel.
That's funny. To get your acai bowl.
Or to downtown Northport.
Oh, are you within?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it's 3 miles there and 3 miles back.
What?
But it's a day thing. It's a journey.
I love it. I do believe it adds a lot to your mental health, and being outside is really important. It's like, I wish I liked salmon, and I just don't, because I wish I liked things that are more good for you like that. But maybe I love where your head's at with like giving people second chances, because I think that's important. Here's something interesting. Long Islander, Adam Sandler. Mm-hmm. Love Adam. Are you an Adam Sandler fan at all?
Who's not?
Right?
I love him.
So here's some breaking hot tea news. Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out.
Oh, that's great.
I think we need that in our lives right now. I need some Happy Gilmore 2.
Do you know I don't watch anything that's sad?
Yeah, well, you can tell. This is why you're so positive. Not me. I'm like, I'm all about. Do you watch White Lotus?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's about travel, but it's kind of dark.
Okay.
Which is why you don't watch it. But it's all about travel. And it's really interesting about how it brings people at these resorts together from all these different backgrounds. They're all going through things. There's a great thing in this current season of White Lotus, which is so masterful. Are you watching White Lotus yet? Okay. There's been all these articles in like Glamour and Vogue because there's one set of characters or 3 women on a girls' getaway to Thailand. And there are 3 famous actresses. You would recognize all of them. Michelle Moynihan and I can't know all their names, but you know them. And it's a very real depiction of female friendships, which I'm not saying is a great depiction of female friendships. But it's when there's 3, as soon as one's out of the room, the 2 are like, oh, did you hear that she's doing this? And as soon as the other one's out, they kind of it's all done in this spirit of like, I'm worried about her. Do you think she's okay? You know, her
like
boyfriend.
sisters.
Right. Yes. Yeah. and then like you'll see them at breakfast and one will say something and the other 2 will kind of like glance at each other like, and there's like a known passage. Female friendships can be so complicated because women are complex.
Right. But they have to, true friends, you're dedicating a lot of time, effort, and energy, which I like, as long as they're low maintenance. Like when I'm with them, I want to give them my whole undivided attention. But it could be months before I see them.
Because you're so busy.
Yeah.
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 And it's hard. I think women are such complex people, as we're in Women's Month talking about, when we think about things so much more analytically and deeply sometimes, where there are definitely times where having that male balance is really helpful. And I'm jealous of men will just like they'll just bro it out.
Well, they don't get into the details of, men are the ones who, if somebody has a baby and you ask them, what's the baby's name? They don't know the baby's name. How much did it weigh? They don't know how much it weighed. But women know all of those things.
Correct.
Right? We need a lot more details.
We're very detail oriented. I was listening, and then I think we can end on this. I might have had one more thing. Oh, I want to ask you one more thing. I was listening I saw Amy Schumer was on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And she was saying that she was like, moms work so hard, this and that. And she's like men, she looked at the girl, the podcast host, and she's like your dad. If your dad had to plan your birthday party, how do you think that would go? And she was like, oh, I would never have a birthday party. She's like, right. Dads, that's just not typically what men are good at doing, planning things. She's like, and yet they rule the world. Can't plan a birthday party. Ruling the entire world. So makes you think a bit if more women were in leadership roles, how different things might be.
I think it's good to have a nice balance of both.
I think so too. Like I said, we need some of that male energy sometimes to help us not harp on the details so much. You know what? I'm going to skip the last thing I was going to say. I was going to talk to you about this trend I heard this new trend about in our genre again, bathroom divorce. Have you heard about this, Michael? So they're saying a lot of couples are.
What do you read?
I know.
How do you find out about all this stuff?
Where do you find these?
I know.
But
it's funny. I read a lot of online. I love the Skim. Do you read the Skim?
No.
The Daily Skim, and of course TikTok and stuff. But so bathroom divorce, just is as people become empty nesters or get older, women are saying their husbands or their spouses. Their bathroom habits don't exactly evolve in the right direction. And so they spend remodel time separating, they have their own bathroom. They want their own toilet. They want their own sink.
I have my own closet.
Well, that's important. That's awesome.
I think that's really important.
For your 2 pair of shoes. No, you always, I would love to see your closet. So Shelley, on that note, is there anything else from Long Island MacArthur Airport that you want the listeners to know? How to reach you, how to reach the airport? Let us know.
FlyMacArthur.com is our local website. And again, we've got 5 great carriers to choose from with all different products Frontier is now competing with Southwest Airlines by offering free bags, free first bag, right? We've got some low fares from Avelo for $59 to $69 to their one-way destination fares. JetBlue is offering $104 fares one way to Boston. And Breeze is, just killing it down in Charleston. And we have a really cool bus wrap down there. So if you're walking around Charleston and you see our bus, that we're the way to get to Long Island through Long Island MacArthur Airport. You cannot do it on the bus, right?
Right. You can't get it. No, that would be a long
2-day trip.
No, why bother? Just jump on it.
Jump on the airplane.
Yes.
So yeah, we've got a lot of great things to offer. We have all new, the front of the terminal, the bag claim units have been replaced. All of our vestibule doors have been replaced. We're in the process of doing not so sexy mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, but it needed to be done. So the terminal is very clean and beautiful and welcoming for passengers coming in or out of Long Island.
Well, you are a total inspiration for women, I think, not only in aviation, but in the business community here on Long Island. As a mother, a wife, a friend, we're lucky to have you in this position. And thank you to you and your whole team, what you're doing so that we have such an incredible airport for residents and visitors alike is so important to our industry. So thank you, Shelley, for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. And Discover Long Island's done a great job. And you obviously have led that effort. And we appreciate all that you do.
Oh, it's a love fest on Women's History Month. I love it. Thanks, Hot Teas. Tune in next week. We'll see you.
The Long Island Tea Podcast is brought to you by Discover Long Island, thanks to our generous sponsor, Sands New York. Visit sandsnewyork.com for more information. For exclusive access to contests and promotions, follow Long Island Tea Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and X. And for questions, comments, and collaborative inquiries, email spillthetea@discoverlongisland.com.